28 years later, The Bone Temple is a zombie movie with barely any zombies in it. But that's the question, are we here for the infected or are we here for the actual story? But more importantly, can we do both? 28 years later, The Bone Temple picks up right after the first movie, and we start off with Jimmy and Jake right away. And Jake is put in the situation that no kid should ever be put through at all. Poor kid, he goes through some heavy shit in here. So he needs to prove himself to Jimmy, and this guy's a true Satanist. He believes in Old Nick. In the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where the camera is going around in a group of people, and it's so unsteady. I thought about that scene with The Dark Knight where Joker meets Rachel for the first time, just goes around in a circle, smooth like butter. But this scene in this movie, it was just so harsh to see. Like, damn, just pick one angle and go around it. But regardless, I'm done with that rant. Back to Jimmy. Imagine meeting a Satanist. That's him and his gang basically. And now Jake is put into that particular environment. And now he wants to go through a whole different lifestyle compared to what he was in the first movie. He was safe with his mom, with his father. Now he's all alone, trying to be a better person overall, through the eyes of Jimmy. And the shit that Jimmy does to other people around him, not in his gang, it's just freaking heartbreaking to see. But at the same time, pretty cool because it's really gory. And to me, it's funny how in this type of world where we have the infected running about, the actual antagonist is Jimmy and his gang. And I have to be honest, the zombies in this franchise has basically become diluted to the point where they're just background music. Of course, in the first movie, we have the tall ass alpha. And that's the key thing about this movie or this franchise. It wants to be different and wants to be unique itself instead of a generic zombie movie out there. And I feel that in this one, it did a much better job than the first one. Because in the first one, to me, I was rather bored honestly. It had some cool action scenes here and there. But compared to this one, this got my attention much more. Except for certain scenes here and there, but I'll go into that in a bit. But after we spend some time with Jimmy and the gang, we get to spend more time with Tom Riddle. Or Lord Voldemort. Or wait, Dr. Ian. Now he was the selling point for me here. I honestly went for the movie just for him. And his performance here is just phenomenal. His mindset, his ideas, what he wants to accomplish is just intriguing. There's two main storylines here. The one that I really cared about the most with Dr. Ian, and then the second storyline was with Jimmy and his gang, which at times it kind of dragged up until you knew more about Jimmy and his mindset, and more up until they actually intertwined with Dr. Ian. But before I go into more details, in this review I will go over some positives and some negatives. So let's start off with some positives. And for me, the major selling point here and the true positive of the movie was Dr. Ian. Because based on the trailer alone, which is not a spoiler, but based on the trailer, he wants to do something more. He wants to see what he can do to help out the infected, help them to some extent. And then the way he goes about it, the way he gets close to a particular zombie, what happens, it's just, I've never seen that before. So that really caught my eye and told myself, damn, this is really a good experience in the theater. I really appreciate this character's mindset because despite being in a shithole for some time now, he's still optimistic and is hopeful. And he has this mindset that makes him think, why do zombies attack people? Why do they attack babies? Why do they attack in general? Like, what do they see? And that just adds on to the actual layer of the movie because again, I've not seen that aspect in a zombie movie before. He is without a doubt my favorite character of this franchise. But let's talk about the infected. It's crazy how in a movie titled 28 Years Later, the infected are just somewhat in the background. This movie or this franchise is clearly all about the story, which is great and all, but give us the infected action scenes or give us the infected scenes in general, because that's why we are here. We the fans grew up with this franchise and that's what we expect. And fortunately here, it was done much better than the first movie. I gotta be honest though, the zombie action is kinda just sprinkled throughout the movie, not much of it. But when they do show us some of that action, it's grotesque, it's in your face, and it's bloody. There's no holding back here with that. And the alpha from the previous movie has his own arc here, his own character development, which is a much bigger take than it was before, and for this, I actually applaud this movie. Another positive about this movie is that it has this wonderful, amazing, out of this world music scene. It's not as great as the scene from Sinners, but still, this is nothing to look down upon because it will stick in your mind even after you leave the theater. But be warned, if you thought the first movie had a lot of private parts showing, this one doesn't hold back either on that aspect. Really quickly though, let's go over some negatives. And I know the critics loved the whole movie, but I have to be honest with you. From my point of view, some of the scenes with Jimmy and the gang somewhat stalled the movie. It kind of dragged a bit. At least in the beginning. Up until we knew more about him and his mindset. He is truly psychotic. And then on top of that, there are some plot holes here. For example, Jimmy and his gang, they are sleeping in the forest and they sleep there overnight. But are there zombies anywhere to be seen? Nope. How convenient. I'm not sure if I missed this in the first movie, but do zombies actually sleep at night or are they always awake? I'm not sure. And then another plot hole was when they were playing music out loud. I thought to myself, are they not gonna die? They are in the middle of nowhere and there's zombies around, so I thought zombies would go around and try to kill them, but I guess not. I just thought the zombies would be attracted to sound either during the day or during the night, but I guess not here. Other than that, this movie is truly unique. So in conclusion, this is a zombie movie with zombies sprinkled around the actual plot, so do not go in there expecting a lot of infected scenes. This relies heavily on the plot itself, not on a lot of action. The ideas presented here are interesting and unique enough to keep you locked in. Some might say that this is a pretentious film, and I can see why. This is truly a unique viewing. This is for those who like story, plot, zombies, gore, and blood. But again, expect more story than the actual zombies and infected scenes. So this all leads me to my rating for this film, and for this one I gave it a 4 out of 5. This is a true cinematic experience in theater. Well, thank you for your time today, my cinematic family, and also for sticking until the end. You are a true cinephile. Please hit the subscribe button, maybe the like button if you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on 28 years later, The Bone Temple, if you've seen it or if you plan on seeing it. I am Chuy, and this is Chuy Cinematic Talk. Take care, I'll see you next time.